What's up, everybody? So, today's video requests death and why we shouldn't be afraid. You know, how it could be a good thing or whatnot. Now, actually, I got two type of requests on, death. One was basically what I just said now, how we shouldn't fear it in any way, or, instead it's a good thing. And then the other is how we're going to come to the point where one day we're just going to die. So, it's pretty similar. So, I'm going to actually put both of those comments down in the video in the beginning. I'm going to screenshot both of them and put them on the thing to support the give both of them, both of those people the love. But anyway, so yeah, without further ado, let's get on into it. So yeah, why in a way we shouldn't fear death, basically. Now, the thing is, I can understand some people fearing it. In a ways, I guess I could say I fear it in a way, but I also embrace it because I also fear to keep living this shit, and God only knows how much more of hell it's gonna become. The real thing, I'm like, me personally, why I'm afraid of death is because, I mean, I'm not like megally afraid, but a little spooked, I guess you could say, is because of not knowing what's on the other side, if there even is another side. You know, I mean, we all have our theories of what's most likely going to happen, but how do we know for sure that it's true? You know, I mean, I'm not against anyone's religion in any way. Like, if a specific person says this happens, I'm not saying he or she's right or wrong, but truthfully, you just don't know 100%. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't know. No one, like everyone that's crossed over, can't come back and tell us, oh yeah, there is a heaven. Yeah, yeah. Oh no, no, you just chill around the planet. You just float around all day. I mean, most likely that's probably what happens. Or it could just be when this light turns off. But nobody truly knows what happens. And, it's also scary because I mean, if I knew exactly what happens, I wouldn't probably be scared. Like, if I knew the answer to what happens when we die, then it would be, in a way, like a relief off my chest, I guess, because, all right, so this is where I'm going to end up. All right, cool, cool, like that type of attitude. But, it's unknown. Nobody knows truly what's going to happen. Thing I fear in a way is, like, what if there's still suffering in the afterlife? Let's say there's an afterlife. Like, how we suffer here, and then when we die, what if that still doesn't end suffering? Instead, it creates another type of suffering. I doubt that's the case. Not saying it is or isn't. I hope it's not the fucking case, but that's one thing I guess you could say I fear. I mean, I'm pretty sure anyone would fear. I mean, imagine going eternity suffering. I mean, we stay here for a while. The suffering's unbearable. Trust me, I understand. But at least one day we're all going to die. And then hopefully we could say we'll be at peace. But what if there's suffering in the afterlife too? Then we're really, really screwed. Then the best gift we could have ever asked for was to never be born. Which really, that is the main gift that we could ever ask for. Because then we would never have to tolerate any of this bullshit from the start. But what I'm trying to say is, if we die, what if there's still some kind of torment? Just nobody truly knows what happens once we die. A lot of people say different things. One person to say reincarnation, one person to say, or the other person to say you go to heaven or you go to hell or whatever. Meanwhile, I feel like there is no hell. This is hell where we're in now. I don't think it could get any heller than that. But I mean, there's a whole bunch of theories, man. But the truth is, nobody knows the true answer. I mean, I'm not trying to like start any problems, but people say this and people say that, and I'm not saying they're wrong or right, but the truth is nobody knows for sure. How could you be so definite that you're absolutely right that that's what happens to you, to us when we die? You know what I mean? I mean, there's no actual evidence, at least not that I could see. I mean, yeah, we hear a lot of near-death experiences. Not near, well, yeah, what do they call it? Like a, death experience where they died, but they weren't fully dead. I mean, who knows? Because it could almost be like when you go to sleep too, where when you're having a dream or something. Who knows? I mean, I'm not saying those people are wrong, but it's just very uncertain to know for sure. If they're right. I mean, they could be right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe those people, but at the same time, I can't say it's not a definite 100%. I don't know what's right or what's not, well, what's true or what's not true. So with all that being said, I guess you could say that's one thing I'm a little bit afraid of when to die because of not knowing what's going to happen to me. I mean, if it's just lights out, then all right. A lot of people will be like, oh my God, if it's lights out, that's scary. You're just going to forever just be in a non-existent state. Well, here, if let's say that's the legit thing that does happen to us when we die, we're not going to know. We're not going to be conscious. We no longer exist. We're absolute nothingness. We're no different than a refrigerator being unplugged. But I mean, or being plugged in. I mean, it doesn't know. Well, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, if it's just lights out, it's basically literally like when you weren't born. Think of how much you missed in the 1800s, all the wars, all the, the crazy shit, the revolution, all that crap that happened. And just thinking how much you missed. Like, think about it. If we were born in that era, it would have been even worse. It would have been even worse. God bless that we weren't born in those times. But I could even say more of God bless if we weren't born, period. So, in a way, if dying and it's lights out, it's not as scary as you think. And I don't know if I'm tripping right now, but I just seen some smoke move by this light right here. I don't know if it's maybe the way I moved my head just now. I don't know if it picked that up on video. I mean, I seen it on the camera, but who knows if it actually records that. But if anyone seen what I think I pretty much seen, please let me know down below because that was fucking weird. And it's funny because right when I'm talking about the death shit, this is trying to give me a sign like, there is afterlife, there is afterlife. But that was fucking weird. I actually want to stop this clip and play that back real quick. Then I'm going to continue because that was freaky. It looked more than just an orb. It actually looked like friggin' smoke or something. It showed it on video, dude. I just watched the clip. Holy crap. Now, I'm not jumping the gun saying, I mean, maybe it's the way I move. Maybe it's the way the lighting is. I have no idea, but I'm aiming by the light now and I don't see no smoke. But that was fucking weird. It was like right when I was talking specifically about the afterlife and crap, but so maybe there is some kind of life. Maybe that gives you like a sign right there. I mean, who knows? I mean, me truly, I mean, like I said, I don't know what to believe or not believe, but in a weird kind of way, I guess you could say, well, I could say, I do believe in that there might be an afterlife. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying there's a heaven or a God or anything like that, but what I might maybe believe is when we die, we still basically linger around the world. Like basically, how, for example, I live here. So let's say I die here. I'll probably haunt this house or, like where people get murdered at. Like, like for example, what was that place? Give me a moment, man. I got brains in a fog, I swear. Like, for example, the Amityville horror, where those people got killed. Supposedly now there's rumors where, that it's haunted or whatever the hell. So, like, in a way, I mean, I'm not saying this, I definitely believe this is true or not true, but this is what I possibly think. Me personally, I don't think I believe in a heaven or God. But then again, I'm not saying God's real, God's fake. I'm very unsure. But if I have to just guess, I feel like maybe there's an afterlife, but I feel like we just linger like where we are now. So like I die in this house, let's say, my spirit's gonna live on in this house. Or vice versa, where anyone dies or wherever they basically spend their life. But which in a way, if that's the case, in a way it kind of feels more pointless because it's like, think of it now, we're lingering now. Sorry if I sound a little nasally, allergies, but we're lingering here now, just waiting to die, and then when we actually die, we're still gonna just be in the same setting. I mean, one relief I guess I could say is we don't gotta worry about bills or any type of money bullshit because we're dead. We're just a spirit. But at the same time, I feel like it would get boring. And another thing I also don't like: what if you get trapped? Like for example, I heard like spirits sometimes get trapped where they can't go certain places. Like, for example, let's say I haunt this house. I can't leave the house. I'm like trapped here. My energy's only like, how can I put it this? My energy only works here or whatever. Like, if I go, it's like my energy's only presence here. If I go anywhere else, I can't. I mean, I don't know. But that's what I think I have a feeling happens when you die. Now, I'm not saying I'm definitely right. That's just my little theory, you know. But then again, who the hell really knows? But in all, why we shouldn't really fear death. Now, let me get to some good, reasons why we shouldn't. Because, number one, we're all going to die someday, you know. Whether we die young, whether we die old or whatever, we're all going to die. So, you know, there's no escaping death. So you can't be afraid of it forever, because you got to say to yourself, it's going to happen one day. There's nothing you can do about it, which in a way I count it as a blessing, because we'll finally escape this shit. Now, if there's more suffering towards that, then we're really screwed. But let's just hope that's not the case. That's all we can say, you know. That's the part where I fear. And also, another thing I fear of getting to death is how I'm going to die. Am I going to go peacefully, or am I going to suffer through some type of illness before death? That I'm afraid of. Like, after I get cancer or some kind of illness where I'm dying, but I'm dying really slowly. I'm in pain, I'm suffering, you know, whatever the scenario might be, that I'm afraid. Now, if it's just straight to death, then I'm really not afraid. Because, you know, getting to die, oh my God, dying is easy. It's getting to it is the problem. I mean, not for everyone. Some people are fortunate and just go to sleep and that's it. That's how I hope I go. That's how anyone should hope they go, in a nice sleep. I mean, that's as peaceful as I think it can get. You know, one thing I'm afraid. I don't know how I'm gonna die, and that's one thing to be afraid of. You know, you don't know if you might get stabbed. I mean, that's the least thing you think about. It's more of like just your body failing on you. You're gonna get some kind of chronic illness or some kind of terminal illness or whatever, and it's basically killing you, but it's not killing you enough to the point where you just get straight to death till you hit the bucket. If I could just kick the buckets 1, 2, 3, so be it. I'll be thankful. But getting to that stage, that's the part where I'm afraid, and that's where comes where a lot of people start to fear about that. And could you blame them? Hell no. I mean, who the hell wants to suffer? That's why this all goes back to euthanasia and why it should be legal. It's like, it all goes back with an animal suffering. Your dog unfortunately is dying, and, you know, kills you to see him or her suffering. So you take it to the vet to put him or her out of his misery or her misery. So it's like, why can't we have that mercy kill too? What is so bad about it? I mean, we're dying anyway. Why do we got to just keep suffering, seeing everyone happy, and you're just in pain, literally like in pain. You're ill to the point where you know you're not going to recover. You're deteriorating. I'd rather just speed the process, man. You know? So that's one thing I got to say I'm afraid about death, if that's how I'm going to go. Like, if that's the way I'm going to die, yeah, I'm going to be shit scared. And nobody knows how we're going to die. That might be the way, but I hope to God not. And I hope, you know, no one has to experience shit like that, but unfortunately people do. I actually had a friend of mine that lost a friend. He was in a coma. He had like brain damage or something. They pulled the plug, and he kept lingering around. Like, he just wouldn't die. I mean, I don't think he was suffering anymore because his brain part was dead. But still, just being in that state, you know, sucks. Like, I'd rather just get to the chase. You know, that's why I say that people like that, if the brain's already shot, it's just basically the body breathing. It's just the body living. The organs and shit are still, I guess, living. Still, you know, ticking. But the brain, basically the main motherboard, what I like to call it, is shot. It's gone. So what the hell are you keeping that person alive for? Oh, yeah. It all comes back to that. That's why. But, yeah. Man, it's funny in a way, too, because it's like right when I was saying a little while ago with not sure what if there is an afterlife, and then that's when the smoke actually came around this light area. It's like almost telling you like that was a sign, like, dude, there is an afterlife. Look, I'll prove it to you. Look at that. So that's when the way what makes me wonder. You know what I mean? It's like at this point I should just turn the channel into some kind of ghost hunter shit. Get some EVPs and some friggin' what do they call those things? Spirit box and shit. That's what the channel's gonna turn into now. Imagine, but yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm not like jumping the gun saying, man, that was definitely a ghost, I mean, maybe it could have been the way I moved my hand. I don't know, because, cameras, man, they be weird. Maybe the way I mean, who knows, maybe the way I did this, but as you can see, you don't see it happening now. So that was fucking wicked. And to be straightly honest, I only seen it on camera, plus because I'm only looking at the camera. I mean, I don't know if I would have seen that if I turned my head or not. Like, I really, just because I don't want people to think I'm just trying to do this for attention or anything, because I'm not. That just randomly happened out of nowhere, and I never seen that. I mean, I always see orbs go by, but that was fucking literally like some kind of smoke or whatever, like some kind of like some spirit fog or shit. And I just seen an orb go by now a little bit, just literally went like that. But who knows, man? I never seen anything like that. Tell me if you guys see it on video. If you gotta rewind it a few times, I mean, but crazy. So in a way, that makes you wonder, maybe there is an afterlife, And don't get me wrong, let's say there is an afterlife, I'm cool with it. But I just hope there's no suffering. I just hope we're truly at peace. I just hope we're truly happy. But then I also say to myself, what's the point? What do we do in the afterlife? We just roam around, lost in the source, you know what I mean? Like how, like, that's basically what we're doing now. And then no less, we're paying for it. They call life a gift. Like I always say, they say life's a gift, yet we're paying just to linger around. Whether you're happy here or not happy here, you're here. So you're lingering here. You're not happy about it, let's just say, but you still got to pay to live here. What a wonderful gift. You should be so happy. But you know what I mean? And then now when we die, what's the benefit in the end? You just roam around where you basically spend your whole life at, I guess, I mean? That's the shit that just doesn't pan up to me. I mean, who knows what's out there? And like I said, I'm not saying God's real, God's fake. But I do definitely got to tell you this, man. If God's real, I swear I got a lot of questions to ask God. Like, why does he do the things he do? Like, why does he give people illnesses? Now financial things, I'm not even blaming God in that way. That's our doing. That's our doing. That's all man-made up bullshit. But like diseases such as cancer and shit like that, even mental illness, like why? They say God knows everything, right? So why does God create us having this type of problem? Or someone Down syndrome. Like, why does God do this if supposedly God's in control of all this? So these are big, big questions that I have to ask. This is the shit that makes me wonder, like, there can't be no God. Like, what God would do this? It just doesn't make sense. But who knows? It's just a big fucking mystery, man. But, yeah. I am super glad, though, that happened on video, though. That was cool, man. So it's like going back to being fearing about death. I could see why people are scared, but you got to say to yourself, you can't be, whether you're scared or not, you got to just say to yourself, well, there's nothing you can do. It's going to happen. You can't prevent death. It's going to come to you at some point. It's going to come knocking at your door one day. If it knocks at the door, maybe you don't have to answer the door right away. Maybe you can ignore it a few times, but eventually death is going to break down that door and grab you. Whether you want it to or don't want it to, it's going to happen. So you got to just overcome it, because there's no way out of that situation, So like me personally, I'm not really afraid to die. But what I could say, one thing of what I could be afraid of is getting to death. How I'm going to die. Is it going to be a nice peaceful death, or is it going to be a bloody, suffering, tormented death? And if that's the case, yeah, I'm going to be scared. And that's what I definitely would just want to off myself in that way. And of course, I can understand people being unsure what happens to you when you die. But I guess you got to say to yourself, you're just going to have to wait and find out. I mean, we're all going to die, and I'm pretty sure if there is an afterlife, we're all probably going to end up in some kind of setting where we meet up. I mean, who the fuck knows? But But I mean, there's even some people that are afraid of it being lights out. And me, I can't see that. I'm not afraid of that. I mean, I know it sounds to some people scary because, man, you're just forever non-existent anymore. But it's not really, you won't know. When you're in that state, you just won't know. It's like when you weren't born, you didn't know anything. Did you know what went on in the 1800s? No, we ended up having to learn in stupid school about it. We weren't around that actual time that shit was happening to know what was going on because we didn't exist. How do we know now? We learned about it. How do we know what we learned is true or not true? We weren't there literally physically to see it. We didn't exist. So that's basically all it'll just be again. And in a way, that's, in my opinion, maybe the most comforting way because at least there's no regrets. That's where it all goes, like where you wish you did this in life or you wish you did that in life, and then you say to yourself, now I'm dead, it's too late, I can't. But if there's no life, if there's absolutely just nothingness once you die, then there's nothing to regret. There's nothing to worry. There's nothing to think about. It's just permanently shut down. So in a way, as dark as that sounds, sometimes that's more comforting to know if you just know for sure that it's lights out, no afterlife whatsoever. I mean, me personally, I'd rather it be that, or if there's an afterlife, I just pray. I mean, it's just some kind of blissful afterlife, I mean, but then again, I see like, it's got to be like another GTA. It's going to get boring. Like, does this shit ever end? I'm just going to float around for eternity here. Woo! Woo! I mean, little joke, but I mean, yeah. But yeah, I mean, if it was just lights out, honestly, my fear would be completely gone. And then people would be like, what, you crazy, man? That's the scariest of it all. And I have to disagree. Because, like I said, you have no regrets. It's like, when, for example, people commit suicide, right? Which, like I always say, I don't promote it. I don't want to promote it. With that being said, I can't stop people's decisions. But, But yeah, let's say someone commits suicide. They say you regret what you've done. Once you're dead, you regret that you did that. And who knows if that's the case. Let's say there's an afterlife. Maybe you do. You see your loved ones crying, missing you, grieving over you. Then you say to yourself, damn, what the hell did I do, man? I mean, you probably feel guilt feeling that you took yourself out. But then again, it's your life. You should have every right to do what you want. But basically what I'm trying to say out of this is, if there's just lights out, if you commit suicide or, whatever, things you didn't achieve in this life, when you're dead and it's lights out, who cares? You're not even going to know anything. It's like it never even happened, literally. I mean, it happened, but you're not going to ever even remember that it happened. So that's why, in a way, that sounds the most comforting, because whatever hell you've gone through in life, when you're dead, it's just all erased. You ever seen those movies with the erase pens or whatever? I'm going to wipe out your memory. Well, that's basically like that. Only thing, it wipes out your whole consciousness. You're completely dead. Nothing. Absolute no consciousness to any extent. You're just literally absolute pure nothingness. And as dark as that may sound to some people, I find it blissful. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, guys, I'm going to actually call it there. I don't know how long I've been making this video. It has to be 20 minutes, if not more. But, yeah, super glad I caught that on camera. That was weird, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to move my hand, but I don't see it happening anymore. That was weird. I don't know if maybe the way I move my head sometimes, but I'm trying to move around right now just to see if the lighting will make it do that, but it's not. But, yeah, anyway, love you all, guys. And, yeah, peace out.